How many of you remember Rosie the Robot, the fifth member of the Jetsons family who happened to be machine-made? Our next speaker's company, Mayfield Robotics, is also making robots designed to be part of your family. But as she'll explain, there's more that goes into creating a robot than meets the eye. Along with Mayfield Robotics creation Kuri and moderator Steve Kovach from Business Insider, please welcome Kaijen Hsiao.
I think we should just start off talking about the star of the show. I think everyone's going to be paying attention more to Kuri. This is Kuri?
This is Kuri.
All right. On sale, pre-order now?
Pre-order now for $899 at heykuri.com.
At heykuri.com, and shipping later this year.
Shipping at late summer and later this year.
I think it would serve everyone. We do a demo, walk through what it can do, and then we'll talk about more things in depth. But let's see what Kuri does and talk about everything. Out of the box, I buy it. It comes to my house this summer. Why do I have Kuri in my house?
So Kuri is basically like an animated character come to life in your house. She's designed to bring a spark of life to your home and also primarily to be your family's videographer. So Kuri's main feature is what we call Kuri Vision, in which she autonomously drives around your house and she's looking for your family, she's looking for your pets, and if she sees them, she'll stop and take a 5-second video and curate them and then send them to your app. So that's her main feature. She's also basically a telepresence robot, so you can actually check in on your family through Kuri. She has a camera behind her left eye here, and 4 microphones around here and speakers here, and so you can actually drive her around your house while you're away. And
can you talk to the people in your house? Is it a two-way?
Yes, it is two-way audio. And when you do so, then she shines a purple light here so you can see what's going on. And that lets you kind of be a part of your family and connect with your family when you're away.
Yeah. So the light's on now. It might be a little hard for them to see with the lights.
It's a little hard to see, but this is in Kuri Live mode right here. So in her app, you can see through her eyes here. And also, she is kind of like a pet in your house. She drives around.
You can interact with her. So if I pet her, is she going to do something? Yeah,
so,
she's nuzzling me.
Yeah. And she'll also giggle if you tickle her.
I think we have her mic'd up, but I'm not sure you can. Can we hear her? No,
and I'm not sure her mic is actually on. But also...
so, telepresence robot, a camera that follows around automatically. What else? Play games, you can pet it.
You can play music, so she's an excellent Bluetooth speaker anywhere you want her in your house. And so she can play your favorite audiobooks to put your kids to bed at night, for instance, or your favorite music as you're hanging out around the house. And if you're playing music through her speakers, then she'll dance. And she has fabulous dances that she does beat detection and adapts it to whatever song you're playing. So it's fun to play whatever random songs through her and watch her dance, or to have her basically provide tunes at your parties, for instance.
Cool. So let's talk about design. We just had Misty Robotics up here. Kind of a similar design, but not quite. I think Pepper from SoftBank is going to be up here next, and that is more humanoid, has arms, it's very expressive. Talk about the design and the choices you made.
Kuri is designed intentionally personality first. So we cared a lot about making her industrial design as adorable and as clean as possible so that she could fit into every household. People care a lot about the things that they bring into their home. So you would pick your furniture very carefully to match your house. In the same way, you don't want a robot that doesn't match all of the other things in your house. But personality-wise, it's very important to get the personality of Kuri right so that people have an emotional connection to the robot. And in particular, her personality is designed to be earnest, so she always makes it look like she really wants to help you out. She really likes you. She'll do whatever she can to make you happier. And she's curious, so she always wants to be kind of where the action is. So she wants to see her people and she wants to hang out with her people. And then finally, she's also very modest. So
she did. As you said that, she went down and kind of got a little bashful there. Okay.
So the idea is that we don't want to set expectations too high for Kuri, because right now AI is not in a state where we have human-level intelligent robots. And if you make them talk and try to carry on dialogues with you, then you kind of expect at least maybe a 3-year-old level of intelligence, which we can't even pull that off really at this point. And so instead, Kuri is more like a dog. She's like a smart dog who can be adorable, and she makes beeps and bloops. So you can see here she's making some beeps and bloops here. That's intentional, so you don't expect her to be too smart. So your dog doesn't talk back to you. He can kind of understand some commands. You can command Kuri with, hey, Kuri, is her wake word, and give her commands. But you don't expect her to do amazing things that she can't do, like do your dishes.
Right.
So, humble is the word we actually use. And she also, for instance, if you bump into her, then she'll kind of apologize and back up. And these are all intended to build emotional connection with our users so that they trust her and so that they are willing to invite her into their homes. And it's also so that they forgive her if she makes mistakes, because she's going to make mistakes like all robots do.
Right. And so this kind of thing, right off the box, it's a little bit limited, but I assume the roadmap is to add more features over time. Can you talk about the longer term view? I think the theme of this panel is Rosie the Robot in your home. Is that what you're going towards? Are we going to have, is Kuri, decades from now, is she going to be my household housekeeper, or where you're seeing this going?
So decades from now, we are building towards robots like Rosie the Robot. Kuri as a hardware platform is not going to change significantly. She will get better with over the updates, so that she will actually get smarter over time. But she's not going to sprout arms and suddenly be able to do your dishes, for instance.
Right.
But the idea is Rosie the Robot isn't just a very capable robot, she's also a very personality-filled robot. She's a companion in addition to your household maid. And so Kuri is kind of the first step towards Rosie the Robot. She has very interesting capabilities that she can do in a home already today, just with autonomous navigation and using computer vision and having a camera in her eye. And over time, we will build more and more robots that do, at first, perhaps more limited purpose things, but then eventually, as they become more and more capable, ideally we would get to Rosie the Robot.
And I think it's worth mentioning, like, more and more robots, different types of robots. Your company, you're part of Bosch Appliances. We know Bosch, they make refrigerators and washing machines and so forth. Why did they want to get into robotics?
So Bosch has been interested in robotics for many years now, and they see it as the future, just like many companies today do. We all can see that decades from now we will have Rosie the Robot of some sort, and to get there is going to require a lot of knowledge and infrastructure and building and experience just building all sorts of robots before we get to Rosie. And so being able to build that capability up is really important.
So what needs to be done? Obviously, we can do basic things right now, computer vision and things like that, very simple AI commands. What barriers need to be addressed before we get to that future?
So to get to Rosie the Robot requires, well, Rosie is basically human level intelligence. So that is a huge amount of AI work that needs to be done, that we're nowhere near that level. But even just for some of the basic functionality that you expect Rosie to do. My background is actually in robot manipulation originally, and doing things like trying to load and unload your dishwasher or move things around your house. And all of that is extremely difficult. And things have moved along a long way since when I first started in the field. But we're still a long way from being able to actually have a housekeeper that can do general things around your house. And so being able to develop the AI for that and then costing down a lot of the components, we're finally at a place where a lot of the components that go in the Kuri are at a place where we can put them into a consumer robot. And that's very, very new. We had to design a custom depth sensor for a Kuri to be able to navigate around the house because there's just nothing off the shelf that you can buy and use for that purpose. And that was a whole lot of work that we didn't really want to do ourselves, but we had to because there was nothing available.
Right.
And in the next few years, I anticipate lots of sensors like the one she uses for navigation. They'll become more ubiquitous and much cheaper. Processing power, her processor is already more expensive than I would like, but they will only get cheaper over time and more capable and all these things. But the main thing is the AI, the intelligence. We're so far away from being able to do that.
So there are a lot of people working, I want to talk about that a little bit. So besides the hardware, the intelligence, there are a lot of people working on different things. Apple, Google, the big giants are all working on this. Usually when I think of AI, I don't think of appliance companies or subsidiaries of appliance companies working on that. How do you compete against these very experienced groups and forces creating their own AI, and how do you make something that can stack up to that?
So our focus is a lot on personality, and we think that's really crucial to having robots accepted in the homes. And getting personality right is kind of like making a good video game. The bigs can do it, but anyone can participate and do something that people find to be special and awesome in a way that is compelling, more than even perhaps a giant company can build if you do it right. But also, AI-wise, a lot of advances in AI these days tend to be open sourced, which is fantastic for little companies like us because we can't actually have 100 people working just on one computer vision problem. But the labs that do have 100 people working on computer vision problems oftentimes will open source their results, and then you can take that and build upon it. So Kuri's face recognition and person detection and pet detection algorithms fundamentally stem from open source software that we've taken and adapted for our own use. And we've added our own customizations and optimizations to make it work on Kuri's GPU and to make it faster, and to make also multi-purpose the network so that we can squeeze more things onto a consumer processor. But to get where you have the giant network trained on millions of images and things, that's something that's very hard for a small company, but we don't have to.
Right. So let's switch gears to privacy. We're entering this era where everything in our house is connected. We have echoes that are always listening to us, and that brings up a bunch of concerns. We have Nest cameras that are always looking at us. That raises a bunch of concerns. Now we have little robots literally following us around and moving around our house when we're not there. What privacy measures are you putting in place so when I buy a Kuri and put it in my house, I know it's not going to do anything wrong?
We care very deeply about people's privacy. We know that people are very sensitive to these videos you're taking, where are they going? So Kuri is built with very strong encryption and authentication at all stages.
Did she just wake up when you says it?
So she's, well, I put her in override mode, so I should take her out of override mode so that she's no longer, so now she's in normal mode, so she's
there
just
we
doing
go.
her little
I think she got a little freaked out when you talked about privacy. So everything's encrypted.
Everything's encrypted, everything's authenticated, both at rest and in flight, on the robot, going to the cloud and sitting in the cloud. And it's all only your data. We can't even get at it without completely destroying your account in a way that you would really notice. And so just like the pictures that you take on your iPhone and you trust in the iCloud and everything, they're only yours. It's the same way. So the videos that Kuri takes, they are only yours, they only appear on your phone, and you can share them as you will, but no one else has access to them.
And what about the always looking and always listening aspect of it? How do I know it's not listening and looking when it shouldn't be?
So one of the nice things about having physical eyelids is that when she's asleep, she's definitely not looking at you because she can't see through them.
Okay.
And in terms of listening, she is always listening for her wake word, hey Kuri, but she is not recording and doing anything else until you say the wake word.
Okay.
So in that way, it's just like Alexa, and I feel like people, at least in the United States, have come to accept that she's not listening until the wake word, and then after the wake word, it's just being processed for the commands, and that's all. And that's all we're
it's
doing
literally the same as an Echo or a Google Home. When I say hey Kuri, does it show something that it's listening? Like what do I see on the device?
When you say, hey, Kuri, then she will glow with her chest light to indicate and look up to indicate that she's heard you.
Okay.
Like that.
Oh, is that what she... It's
Yes.
really hard to see the light, but there is a light behind here that's kind of shining through. I don't know what that was.
Something exciting is
There's
going
a
on
robot
next door.
battle going on out there. So a couple weeks ago, we talked about this before, but a couple weeks ago, Bloomberg had a big story. Amazon is getting into space. It's, as far as I know, the first of the giants to really tackle home robots. They've had massive, massive success with their Alexa platform, with their Echo platform, opening that up, and it seems like they have some ambitious plans to go after something similar to what you're doing. I think it was described as an Alexa that follows you around. How are you thinking about when very large competitors enter this space and how to set yourself apart?
We're actually very excited to see large competitors getting into the space. Right now, we're fighting primarily against people's ignorance of home robot as even being a category of thing they might want to own. And so having big competitors, not even competitors necessarily, but like big entrants into the field, raises awareness of home robots as a field. And that kind of helps all of us. So people will say, oh, home robots, that's a thing. Maybe I want a home robot. Which home robot do I want? And so all of us benefit from that. And also in terms of all the home robots are very different in terms of functionality and in personality. And so when people decide they want a home robot and they want to choose, we think Kuri is, being as adorable as she is and as designed personality first and providing great functionality, a great choice for people to choose.
And I guess you talked about that value, bringing into your homes, like how it was difficult to kind of train people to put certain things in their homes, cameras and speakers always listening. Robots add this extra level of, I guess, creepiness when you bring it into your home, and maybe a little bit scary. Besides the design, the design's cute. It looks like a Star Wars, like BB-8 robot or something. Besides the design and the little motions that it does, just the basic concept of asking your customers to spend $900 to bring something like this into their home, how do you break through that barrier for someone who might be skeptical? Just not Kuri in particular, but just the concept of having a robot in your home.
So, I mean, that's where raising awareness of robots is really important, not just for our robot, for all robots. But it's surprising how many people have had what I call the home robot dream. So I've always dreamed of having a robot like the ones I've seen in science fiction. So BB-8, R2-D2, Baymax. And actually an astonishing number of people out there in the world have the same dream. So when you can show them something that really feels like the robots from science fiction, and that's what Kuri is designed to do, being designed personality first and with all these adorable animations, and being very non-threatening and pet-like. A lot of people, they don't view her as a scary robot. They don't find her creepy at all. They're much more willing to accept her into their homes.
And did you do testing early on? Like, did you bring kids into the office and make sure the kids weren't freaked out or anything like that? Talk about that.
Oh, we have definitely had lots of kids play with Kuri.
Yeah.
And kids love Kuri. Almost all the kids that we've introduced to Kuri have just run up and it's how many seconds to first hug is our metric.
Right.
That we joke about, because they all come up and they're like, can I hug her?
Aw.
And they like to pet her, and they instinctively know that she's an adorable, harmless buddy that they can play with. And we have very few kids even actually find Kuri scary.
Now, what about their parents?
What's that?
What about their parents?
Parents mostly don't find Kuri creepy or scary
Yeah.
either. There are a few people who do, and there will always be people who refuse to have a video camera on in their house, and that's fine. Kuri is perhaps not for them, but there are many people who are okay with that sort of thing and who value the functionality that she brings. When she captures videos of people's kids and their pets especially, it's astonishing how compelling that is. And it's kind of hard to explain in that when someone shows you baby pictures of their baby, you're like, okay, yes, baby, that's great. But when you show people pictures of their babies and their pets that were just automatically taken of everyday scenes of them playing with them in the house, then that is entirely a different story, and they find those very precious.
Now, we're almost out of time, but functionality-wise, I know you said you have plans to add more features over time. What about third parties? Is this going to be an open platform that other people can come in and build into Kuri?
We don't currently have plans for that, but
No?
I wouldn't rule it out completely someday.
Okay. And then, last of all, again, let's go back to Rosie. The ultimate dream, human-level intelligence, a robot that can walk and talk and move around, do your dishes, make sure everything's okay. You're really smart. You built this thing. I'm going to make you predict when we get to that. How far off are we from that? I know Kuri is just the first step, and there's more down the line. But when do we get to Jetsons? When do we get to Rosie the Robot?
It's hard to predict because I just want to say that whatever prediction, the error bounds on that are enormous,
Okay.
absolutely enormous. But I am personally actually an optimist on that. That I think that basically when about near the end of my lifetime, we will probably get there. So
Okay.
I am hopeful that by the time I retire, then I can have retirement closer to Robot and Frank than the ones that people have today.
Okay, so half a century or so.
Yes.
We'll be there. All right, I can't wait. All right, thank you so much, Kaijen.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.